Hello everybody and welcome to the Common Skate Art Stream. My name is Brian. How are you guys doing today? I am getting more and more accustomed to using the tablet. Alright, so if you could smash like as we're getting started. I hope you guys are feeling alright. On Thursday, it's kind of my, I wouldn't say it's my day off, but it's the one day I don't have a show. And other than the weekend. Alright. Take it you got like that Argo Fox channel I suggested. Yeah, it's alright. It helps. You good? You voted? Alright. Shaman King says he was in a jazz mood and he's disappointed. Disappointed! I feel like I can't make anyone happy. Every time I put on music, someone complains. So, anybody got any plans today? The owners of Max, the dog we've been boarding, they're supposed to be picking him up today. So I'm kind of excited. Hopefully they do, because then, if so, my wife and I are going to go watch John Wick, Chapter 3. Parabellum, I think it's called. I don't know why it's called that, but and I heard it was the shit, so I'm kind of excited to check it out. This is supposed to be royalty-free music too, so hopefully this woman's voice doesn't get me copyright struck, but I think I'm okay. John Wick 3 was awesome, that's all I'm gonna say. Put on some Insane in the Rain music. Greetings, fellow non-normies. Greetings, Super Genrai. I plan to see that on Saturday. No spoilers. I won't. I can tell you that without... I mean, apparently... Super Genrai saw it. I think the only spoiler that we're going to get is that it was the shit. Which is what everyone's been saying. So if that's not a spoiler, then we're good. Actually, this is wrong. Get rid of that line. Usually it's like a dago, and we'll draw a bit of a chain there. See, you can already see the difference, right? Like, look at this guy, how the lines came out. So I'm gonna have to ink on top of this, but you can see by how the lines turned out on the Israelite here and on this Jamaican guy. This is when I first got the tablet, the Huion, right? And if you look over here, this guy and these guys were made on my old tablet, right? So I don't know if you can see it, but there is a difference in the line quality. But then if you look at the girl, I did this one this morning when I got accustomed to the Huion. I made a lot of changes to the options. You know, I fucked around with pressure sensitivity. I fucked around with shortcut keys. I fucked around with the angle. I cleaned the screen really good. I think that this is gonna work a lot better, and I think that should be. For me anyway, it's kind of obvious, but I can already feel the difference. So I feel like I'm getting pretty accustomed to this new tablet, and I'm glad about that. So I don't even know what this shit is over here, but I'm just gonna draw that. That's fine. It's kind of cramped space here. So, anyone here see the trailer for the new Terminator? The new Terminator movie? With Sarah Connor and a bunch of non-binaries and a woman? I have a prediction to make about this movie. But I want to see the trailer. Jimmy Stifffinger says, "Ugh. Do you know all the shortcuts, Brian? Good to dust that one off every once in a while, yeah. With the ugly women, meh, everyone after 2-2 was trasho. You know what, though? I agree, but Terminator 3, it was okay. I didn't hate that movie. I didn't hate that movie. It was okay. But we didn't really need it. I think it was unnecessary. The one thing that we haven't gotten that everyone wanted out of a Terminator movie is the one thing that we've never gotten, and that is basically John Connor. I want to know why he's a big deal. John Connor in the future actually fighting the machines. That's what we want. And for some reason, we still haven't gotten that. You know? Not well. I remember when Terminator Salvation was coming out, everyone was like, oh shit, we're finally gonna get it. We're finally gonna get the movie that explains why John Connor is a big deal. Christian Bale's gonna play him too. The guy is a really great actor. Nope. Mac G, director of Charlie's Angels, did not deliver, and no one was surprised. Alright, this guy's pants are sagging, that's why he looks like that, so. And this is his Dago t-shirt. Men created Skynet. Everything. The previous one was too soy influence for my taste. I didn't see it. Is that the one with John Connor and he turns out to be a Terminator? Some bullshit. A Terminator set in the future, massive robot battles. Yeah, that's all people wanted. The Terminator franchise should have been Terminator, Terminator 2, and then Terminator 3, which is John Connor in the future fighting robots. And how did he win? That's it. You can make that into a story. That can be a story. You can even like make it come full circle. So like, you know, it kind of like, I wouldn't say it ends with him sending John Connor, or no, I'm sorry, Kyle Reese into the past, but it has that moment in there, and that's the end. You just show how he wins, and you see how it all comes full circle, and that's it. But for some fucking reason, you know, they can't do that. So, I don't know. Zoom in a bit. I have to zoom in, right? No, this is zoom in. Nope. Yeah, there we go. I gotta get accustomed to these shortcuts I put on my on the tablet itself. So I gotta force myself to use them. All right. Salvation was one of the biggest cinematic letdowns of my life. Yeah, really. Could have been great. Come on. Uh-oh. No, don't. Oh my God. Clip Studio almost crashed. People can't make an original IP anymore. No. You know, they say that it's because Hollywood doesn't want to take a risk, but I mean, there have been some that have been good. You know, even if they're like, say, based on books or something like that, like Annihilation was based on a book. I liked it. I thought it was good. But it means that you have to like have original ideas then, you know? And you know, you're right. Hollywood doesn't have original ideas. Their creative people are gone. And maybe it's because they were male. I don't know. Or because they didn't cuck. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to blame wokeness for everything, but I do think it's a big problem. Because if you look at the content they make, it's like wokeness is a prerequisite. Okay, so speaking of woke, I have some predictions about Sarah Connor, or this new Terminator. I think this new Terminator is going to be woke. And I think that's evidenced by the characters in the movie. Like, the men are all Terminators. I don't know if Schwarzenegger is a good Terminator or a bad Terminator. I don't even know if he is a Terminator. He might not be. But he is in the movie, according to the trailer. Also, this movie is being written by James Cameron, which is why people think it's gonna like salvage the franchise, because it's the only one he's written since Terminator 2, right? So there are people saying that this is the definitive sequel and that all the other ones don't count. I mean, I have my doubts about that. I think that when you choose to make a movie and you choose to make it a sequel, you can't just pretend like that shit didn't happen. I don't think you get to do that, but a Band of Brothers-esque Terminator film would have made me very happy. Holy shit, that would have been the fucking shit. Like a Private Ryan type Terminator movie? Oh yeah. It could have revolved around Kyle Reese, actually. It could have, yeah, that would have been the shit. But anyway. Probably because the creators that made good characters actually understood human nature and didn't buy the ideological BS of Hollywood. Yeah, perhaps not. Anyway, just want to finish this here. So my prediction is that this movie is going to be woke, which is like, that's kind of almost too obvious. But here's what I think is going to happen. A lot of people have talked about like how to do female characters right. And one of the primary examples that's used is Sarah Connor from the Terminator franchise, right? So now they actually have Sarah Connor in the movie. And so what that means is if people complain that the movie is woke, then they're going to use this, they're going to run defense with Sarah Connor, essentially saying, you guys say that Sarah Connor is like the, a good example of a strong female character that doesn't have, that's not too feminist and doesn't like beat you over the head with her ideology. But when we actually give you Sarah Connor, you still complain. And so they're going to use it to run cover, even though the point is that the way she was written worked. And I don't think that she'll be written as well. Just because Linda Hamilton is back playing the character doesn't mean that Linda Hamilton, is going to be well written. It's like she might even do a good job in the acting department, but if the lines are shit, then it doesn't matter. I think, okay. Humanity was near extinction working in slave labor camps. John Connor leads humans to resist, but in Salvation, John Connor is just some low-ranking officer in an already existing human resistance. Yeah, they got that wrong. In the last Terminator, Sarah Connor was a Mary Sue. Is that the one that we were just talking about with John Connor as the Terminator, as the bad guy? I have a feeling that that's another thing too, is, they can't help themselves with this. They're gonna do this thing that Hollywood's been doing lately where the white guys are all villains and the women and are all good guys, and the black men are all like supporters and allies. It's what they're gonna do. It's what they always do. This Batwoman trailer is basically that. And if they do that, it's gonna be really boring. It's gonna really be boring. Because it makes it just too predictable. Yeah. Zoom out a bit. So I need to see what's going on. I did give this guy a bandana, but I'm changing my mind because I gave it to this guy, so. Leave Rico Suave's bandana alone. Yeah. The Batwoman trailer was fine until she started spewing Miss Andrews trash. When it fits a woman. I don't know. I never, like, these days, I'm so cynical about female-led anything because I just don't think, even if it didn't have any overt feminist shit in it, I think that it's just likely to be trash anyway because, like, they can't write females as humans. They just don't. They just never do. They always write them as living embodiments of the ideology, just like talking points. They exist as talking points. And they always do it. It's like never fails these days. Really. I'm gonna have him wearing a watch because I don't know why. Because he's gonna let Englewood know what time it is. And I did have him wearing clothes before, like a shirt, but I'm not gonna have him wearing a shirt now. He's just gonna be like shirtless. Kind of reminds me of a Bobo from the old Double Dragon, now that I look at it. Let's see. Female-led stories nowadays are male stories mechanically altered for women as stand-ins for men. Yeah, they are. Because SJWs think that men are better than women. They value masculinity over femininity. That's why they do that. It's just like with why why did Beauty and the Beast have black aristocrats? Well, because the people who wrote that believe that white culture is better. That's why blacks should be engaging in it. You know? It's actually really interestingly fucked up. I mean, it's only... White cultures are only bad when white people are engaging in them. Just like, you know, masculinity is only bad when men are performing it. But when women are performing masculine things, no, it's great. It's empowering. Just as when black people are doing white shit, it's cool. And they can't like, oh shit, that was wrong. They can't see it any other way. That's how they see it. They generally believe that white culture is superior. And that's why black people should be engaged in it. That's why they're always trying to inject them into things. You know? Hollywood needs to end. Yeah, I know. I thought Kate was fine when she was in the Elseworlds. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about Batwoman? I just, the whole thing is fucking derivative trash in my opinion anyways. There was already, like, there's a Bat Girl, there's a Nightwing, there's a Batman. It's like, I don't care. You know? I heard that, like, movie ended with them, like, basically a bunch of the kids getting, like, Captain Marvel's powers, although they can't call them Captain Marvel, but they were. It's like the whole Marvel family is what they called it, the Captain Marvel family. It ended with that, and it's like, I'm not excited because they all do the same thing. Like, superheroes are, in part, it's their powers that make them interesting. You think Wolverine was popular because, you know, he had a personality that was, like, against the grain, or, you know, kind of a bad boy? I mean, that's not a new thing. Like, it's because of his powers. People liked the Fantastic Four because of their powers. They were cool because of that. Brian, Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. were always a thing. I know they were. I know. But they're also boring. It's like, I know that Superman, Supergirl, Superboy, Crypto, Bizarro, Zod are all a thing. But they're all the same thing. Power Girl. They're boring. Because it's derivative. It's basically lazy. It's like, we're going to make the same person, but we're going to make it a woman, or we're going to make it a kid, or we're going to make it a dog, or we're going to make it a bad guy. It's not interesting. It's like all the Flashes and Impulse, you know, and Kid Quick. They're all the same. They all do the same thing. This is the reason why I like Marvel more, because back when, now Marvel's gone down this road too, so I'm not saying that, you know, it's not a problem over there, but when they started out, every character had to be its own original concept from beginning to end. They were like, from the design to the personality to the power to the theme of the book itself. They were going for something different with every character. It wasn't just, oh look, the Fantastic Four are popular, let's make another Fantastic Four, but just change the genders around, or make them children, or make them old people, or make them, you know, fucking gorillas. I don't know. Like, they didn't do that. They were like, Fantastic Four is popular. That idea has been explored. Now what? Oh, how about Spider-Man? Now what? How about the Incredible Hulk? How about Iron Man? How about Thor? How about the X-Men? And everything was different, right? Now, they started going down that road recently, and like I say recently, in the last 20 years or so, when they made like multiple Ghost Riders, multiple Thor spin-offs, multiple Spider-Man and Venom spin-offs, and I don't like that. Like, I never cared for Carnage. It's just Venom but crazy, you know, in a slightly different visual aesthetic. But like when somebody came up for Carnage, or with the character Carnage, you know, it wasn't like somebody was like, I personally did not believe that was worthy of, holy shit, what an original idea. And I personally am, let's just say that I'm attracted to original ideas. Like my thing, right? Now, I know that these days it's very difficult to come up with an original idea. I know that. However, I do believe that it's not impossible. And I think that you can do something that's been done before, but in a new way too. You know, slightly different. Like, there's never going to be another Spider-Man, for example. But a lot of people have tried. And I don't mean just like in terms of his powers, but just tried the same kind of, you know, teen hero that's got problems and blah, blah, blah. But that's my thing. That's what I'm saying. Is every DC character the same? No. And no, actually, they actually have a lot of good ones that I think don't get enough attention. You know? Like, for example, Mr. Terrific is good. I like Mr. Terrific. I like Martian Manhunter. I like... Let's see. I mean, Aquaman is alright. Green Lantern was a good idea, personally. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different Green Lanterns, but I guess I tried to see, because they sort of set it up that way, it's not like a killer. But if they tried to make multiple books, like here's the Guy Gardner book, and here's the Kyle Rayner book, and here's the Hal Jordan book, and here's the John Stewart book, I'd call bullshit on that. I think that would be, you know, I wouldn't find that that's like something I'm really interested in. I'd probably just pick my favorite if I was going to read it at all. And I know that you can tell good stories and that the other stuff kind of becomes secondary, but I'm just looking at it in terms of concept. Like, we're talking about, how do you draw people in? And I'm saying that it did not happen just because, you know, it was like, just saying we got this character named Wolverine is not alone what sucked people in. I think that they were interested in seeing, you know, what made these people super. And it was obviously not just their moral code or whatever, but it was also their powers. Their concept. It's character concepts I'm talking about. You know? Let's see. Yes, I know it's always been a family, but like I said, it's just that they're dull. Like, here's an interesting idea. Just throwing it out there. What if the Marvel family, the Mary Marvel, you know, Captain Marvel Jr., Captain Marvel, whatever. What if they they could all share power, but if they shared it all evenly, they were all weaker. Because it's like a limited pool, and they could like move it from person to person when they need to, or even like, you know, divide it up. Like, maybe you just give one person just gets the strength of Hercules, and another person gets the speed of Mercury or whatever, you know. But they have to work with a limited pool, and they can like shift it around. I think that by itself makes it more interesting right off the bat, you know. But instead, they just all are the same. As far as I know, unless, you know, they did implement something like that. Hey, Micah. I'm just talking shit about derivative characters. Concepts, that is. And I'm not talking about it in the indie scene, because I know there are people who use, you know, very popular ideas to... kind of like, you know, subvert your expectations, or to start new narratives. You know, maybe they want to do a bit of a deconstruction or something like that. I mean, Alan Moore's Watchmen was that. He took a bunch of characters that already existed, and he basically created a kind of, you know, alternate universe with like different versions of them so that he can tell his story. Don't have a problem with that. I think Hawkman is underused these days because of the disproportionate focus on Hawkgirl because of the Justice League animated series. Yeah, Hawkman, do that. Do Lobo. That's interesting. I mean, DC has lots of interesting characters. You know what a character is that I really like by DC Comics? You know which one I really like? I like Booster Gold, and I like the Blue Beetle. Why don't we do a movie for those guys? I really like Vigilante and the Shining Knight, and I know that those characters are really old, but you can make it work. I've heard people say, well, you know, how are you gonna make that work? Like, nobody would get into that. Yeah, but people said the same thing about fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, and now that's a household name. So don't give me this excuse. Don't give me this excuse, okay? All right. Let me draw this dude helping this other. I gotta quit in like 15 minutes, but they tried some Hawkman solo in the last few years, but nothing seemed to stick. Yeah, but that was like TV or something, right? I think that if you do it well, you got to implement. And Hawkman's not. He's known for people who grew up with the Super Friends and watched the Justice League. I think Hawkman was on an episode, although I think they made him a bad guy. I don't know why. Or that's not the real Hawkman, because I think they did bring him in eventually in Justice League Unlimited or something. But it's just a matter of how, like I said, it's not that it can't be done. I mean, they did fucking Groot and Rocket Raccoon. There's no excuses anymore. Oh man, Booster got fucked recently. Really? Yeah, see, I think a Booster Gold movie would be awesome. I think that you can do it. I also think that like I said, Blue Beetle, what's another popular character? How about, well, I know that they did like Green Arrow on his own show, but I think an adult, you know, Green Arrow movie that's part of the Justice League sort of DCEU would work well if they actually go like away from the whole like, you know, Dawson's Creek angle and like Smallville shit and like actually made a movie. I think that could be good. I'd like to see Black Canary in, you know, shit, man. There's just tons of things you could do. There's no excuses. So, Brightburn. Yeah, you know, I was interested in Brightburn, but there is something about Brightburn that bugs me. And I think it's this idea, because what they were doing was they were basically saying, you know, what if Superman wasn't good? Essentially, it's like it could almost be an Elseworlds type of thing. And I get that, and I'm okay with that on its own, but a part of it, there was something about Brightburn that really bugged me as a concept, and I think it is there's a bit of cynicism in filmmaking around characters that are so moral that, you know, they create that people love them not because of what they can do, but because of how good they are. And I just get this sense that there's a desire to deconstruct that, you know, because Hollywood is cynical and the people there are not happy. Irredeemable Ultraman. Oh yeah. Tom King turned Booster a bit loopy. DC's kind of gone in a weird direction lately. Granted, that's why I'm writing my own stuff these days. Yeah, DC's getting woke in their own way, for sure. So I got a new, Micah, I got a new tablet, a new drawing tablet. My hopes is that it'll increase the quality of the work I'm doing. So it's like, it's an investment that I'm hoping pays itself off, because frankly, we're going to be in some financial trouble pretty soon. And I'm really hoping that this works. It's like a crapshoot, man. This was my Hail Mary play in a lot of ways. They wasted Halle Berry on Catwoman when they could have made Vixen. Oh, Vixen's a good character. I like her powers a lot too. That's what I'm talking about. That's cool. Like, why I wouldn't have cast Halle Berry as Vixen though. But I mean, she's a competent actress. I love Superman, so I get a little bit defensive about him. Let's see. Don't sweat it too much, dude. I think we're gonna find success with this book. Once the cover's done, I may start talking to publishers. Awesome. You know who I've been trying to get on the show is Ben Dunn. Ben Dunn. Do you guys know who Ben Dunn is? He's actually said he would be willing to come on, but I have to like figure out like, you know, I'm waiting to hear back from him about it, but he's actually said that he would be willing to come on. Do you guys know who Ben Dunn is? It's spelled D-U-N-N. I bet Micah knows who Ben Dunn is. That feel when modern comics aren't cutting it, so you start making your own. Yeah, really. Oh man, I only got like 9 minutes left, and then I gotta go. You hear that squeak, squeak, squeak? I'm getting a squeaky sound from the screen. It's kind of a... I don't know if I should be afraid of that or not. Maybe I pressed too hard. I don't think I do, though. Given that Vixen is a model, I don't think Halle Berry is a bad pick. Yeah, but she's a little old right now. You know who would be good? Actually, I mean, like, we wouldn't want to cast the model, but a beautiful woman, a beautiful black woman that looks like like an African model or something would be good. So my brain immediately went to I can't remember her name, but she was in Black Panther and she played the Black Panther's girlfriend. Well, you know, on again, off again girlfriend. And she's a really good actress too. And she's got that very beautiful like African look, you know, like you know when this here I'll do a little sketch. You know when a woman who's like African like they have this thing where, you know, their like mouths are out here and just a beautiful profile, right? High cheekbones, you know. Anyway, I digress, but just make this bigger. She's very pretty. Naguya Batondo or something like that. Lupita Nyong'o. That's who I'm talking about. Yes. She could do it. I think she's good enough. And she's a good actress from what I heard. You know, so Ben from Antarctic Press, that's right. Yeah, Ben Dunn from Antarctic Press. I know him as the guy who drew and wrote, I believe he wrote it, Ninja High School, which was yeah, he said he would come on. So I mean, I think that'd be cool. Is he has he been on other streams? I haven't really noticed. So I don't know if he's been involved with Comicsgate stuff, but he has a little bitty channel on YouTube. And that was how I found him. And he was pretty, like, you know, he seemed to be pretty vocal there. So ah, yes, not Storm. Yeah. You know, to be though, you know, to be honest, I wasn't. I don't know if I was crazy about the Black Panther marries Storm thing. I have that book. I have that book when they get married, and at the time I thought it was really cool, but on retrospect, I don't know. It's kind of gimmicky, isn't it? I mean, should they be in? I don't know. I guess I was just like, I like Storm. I like Black Panther. I love Black Panther. I thought he was a great character. I felt so robbed by how they treated him in the movies, but I kind of like, I should have seen it coming, to be honest. All right. So this dude, I think he's gonna be wearing a do-rag, a wave cap. All right. Let's see. Let's put this there. His hair. If you saw Lupita in Us, you know what she can do. Yeah, I didn't see Us. I heard it was good, but I did not like Get Out at all. I did not like that movie. And I just decided I wasn't going to support Jordan Peele anymore, because to me he's pretty anti-white, like to an extreme degree, in my opinion. And so I'm not going to support that. Other people can if they want to. It's, you know, it's your personal choice, but I'm not going to. Another one for the ruined childhood counter. I love Black Panther as a kid, and they ruined that movie. Yeah. The girl from Django is hot. I don't know who that is. I saw, you're talking about Django Unchained? I haven't seen that in years. You mean Jordan Peele hates half of his lineage? Yeah, well, yeah, he does. And in a way, by extension, he kind of hates the other half too, because, you know, to me, all of this comes down to, do you respect the people that you claim to protect? Because I think on some level they don't. I think that's why they see them as victims, you know, because they don't actually have respect for them. They don't believe that they have the strength, the autonomy to, you know, just deal with uncomfortable shit on occasion. And white people are the only ones that can, or men are the only ones that can. And this is why you have this thing where, you know, feminism, like, it hates men, obviously, but it also hates women. Feminists hate themselves in a lot of ways, you know, and they ignore, when it's convenient for them, they ignore the ways in which they ignore the ways in which groups that they want to protect are also exhibit a behavior and attitudes that you know, they themselves would only attribute to white people or attempt to. For example, feminists hate religion. They hate it. They're anti-theists in their core. Now, maybe not all anti-theists are feminists, but feminists by and large are anti-theists. But by extension, because they connect, the reason why is because they think that there is a connection between being religious and being bigoted, as well as the desire to control women comes from that, and you know, just all these bad things, right? It means you're right wing. It means that you vote for, you only care about rich people. All this ridiculous straw man shit that's clearly not true. But what they leave out that's really interesting, I mean, it's not like shocking, but it's interesting, is that they also stand for minorities. But minorities culturally are highly religious and conservative. Blacks are highly religious and conservative, and they tend to have a problem with, say, gay people and trans people. You know, you can look at, I know that there was a video that 1791L put out recently where they were talking about Dave Rubin, and you know, we know that Dave Rubin is gay, and he had Tommy Sotomayor on, and you know, Tommy did not know that Dave Rubin was gay. Tommy Sotomayor is a black man. And later on Tommy's channel, he was told that he was gay, and he like freaked out, right? He was like, "Oh my God, I shook that guy's hand," blah, blah, blah. And but you see, that's not abnormal for the black community. That's why Tommy Sotomayor was able to do that with his audience, who was mostly black. And they didn't like lose their shit over it, because that is a problem in the black community. They're pretty homophobic. And they're all highly religious. And yes, even though they're in a state now where, you know, there's a big problem with, you know, kids on welfare and, you know, fatherless homes and all that, fatherlessness in the country. They still go to church. They still, you know, are pious. They still revere God. They are religious, you know, and they pretend like that's not real. It's interesting. Okay. Anyway, my only issue with Us is that it ditches logic for symbolism, so you can't watch the film and expect things to make sense, but it looks great while it's happening. Yeah. Brian, any luck with Zach? Is he not responding? Yeah, diversity in comics, that it seems to me that ship has sailed. I think the only way I'll be able to get his attention is if either I or Honey Badger Radio become so, let's say, big in the conversation around Comicsgate stuff that we can't be ignored. I think that guys that are in Comicsgate that are kind of like Comicsgate e-celebs, and I don't mean this as a criticism or an attack on them, but I think that they kind of like pick and choose, because Zach was on Ethan Van Sciver's stream yesterday, I think. And I think the only reason why he went on there is because it was Ethan Van Sciver, and that, you know, he got his attention basically, you know. So, okay, so here's where I am on the cover. Let me turn off the lines underneath. These are all still pencils. I was gonna give this dude in the back like little legs, but that looks a little bit too little, so I'm probably gonna like lasso the muscle guy and make him taller, bring him up, and then go from there. Yeah, I mean, because they look like midgets, so I'll probably make some adjustments, but this is where I am right now. And yeah, I'm gonna have to quit, so let me save. So much for ya boy. V needs to get on HBR. I've tried, you know, he said many times that the only badgers he's interested in talking to are the women. I don't know why that is. So mainly Karen he wants to talk to. So thinking back to the Black Israelites, a lot of homophobia there. Yeah. And like, you know, I think that it's pretty mainstream. Like, I know black guys that are they're anti-gay. I mean, not like to the, this is the difference though. They don't want to pass laws to make it illegal. They don't want to hurt any gay people. It's not any of that. It's just that they don't want their kids to grow up gay, and they don't want to be exposed to homosexuality. You know, like men making out or women. Well, maybe women making out is okay, but men making out basically with men. And I've heard it many times. And these guys would tell me that they are self-described liberal dudes that, you know, they're anti-racist, they're anti-sexist, and they don't want to take away LGBTQ people's rights. They just don't want to be around it. They don't want to subject their kids to it, and they don't want their kids to become that way. So that is the extent to which there is homophobia that I've seen in the black community. I'm sure that there are people who get more violent or whatever, but I think it's interesting because, yes, the black community is pretty homophobic. They're also pretty racist against white people and against non-black people, basically. So also towards Asians, also towards Hispanics. And it's not surprising. I mean, Hispanic people are too. Hispanic people are so religious, okay, by and large, so religious that they see symbolism in shit that doesn't, like whenever the people say there was a, you know, Jesus's face was found on a piece of toast, or, you know, they found the Virgin Mary and some water damage on like a church wall or something, that is Latinos doing that. We're the ones that freak out over that stuff. It's like their belief in religion is almost bordering on mysticism, right? And so they're really, and they're very conservative. I mean, Latinos believe in the natural order, you know, men, then women, and then children. Men over women, women over children, right? And God over man, in that order. And that's why there is a lot of machismo and stuff like that, you know, in Latino culture, because they believe in the natural order. So, like, there's nothing wrong with, I mean, let me rephrase that. It's interesting, what I was trying to get at. It's interesting that leftists want to protect people like that. And then we won't even get started on Islam, right? But leftists want to protect people from bigotry, but without being able to see that those people also have traits that they would consider to be bigoted. Now, what that tells me, and I really got to go after this, but what that tells me is that ultimately they do know that that's a problem. They just want to own the victimhood of minorities and LGBTQ folks and so on, and then they're going to start doing the policing within those cultures. So, you know, if let's say SJWs get like control over black people because they finally like get to cash in on all those victim points that they've been like, you know, getting on their behalf, as soon as they have that authority over black people, they're going to try to change black culture and move it away from, you know, misogyny, homophobia, whatever they find. And they've already started doing that. Because you can find videos made by black people towards black people saying, you know, women are the real victims of black culture, in black culture, and black men are the real perpetrators. And, you know, toxic masculinity, homophobia, sexism, etc. And religion. So it's already started, and they're just going to do it all over the place. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up the show. I'll read a couple more chats, and then I'm going to get out of here. So let's take a look here. Exploding Prinny says, though I think those guys go way back though. YouTube is a series of high school cliques anyways, every group sitting at their own tables for lunch. Yeah, there's a lot of repressed homosexuality in the black community. Yes, lots of men on the down low. Lots of men on the down low in the black community. Prinny says, not enough thuggin' love. Yep. Lord of Swarm says, well, looking logically, if you want your lineage to continue, you typically don't want your children to be homosexual or uninterested in having children. I fall into the latter category. Yeah, latter category, for sure. I think that, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's it's understandable that the sentiment exists. That's what I will say. It's understandable that the sentiment exists. All right, well, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to thank you guys for coming on the Comics Gate Art stream. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let me know, that is. What you think in the comments section. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And hit that like button. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks, guys, for coming on. I'll see you tomorrow as I try to finish up my sketches for Dave Cullen. Talk to you guys later.